suppose with the Tag of Champions there's always going to be a bit more pressure to retain the trophy. You know, we're delighted with 2013 with the Munster Championship to have won it and broken that duct, but you know, it's going to be a bit more difficult now to retain it again. And as we found out in the All-Ireland semi-final against Cork, you know, they weren't too happy about relinquishing their crown in Munster, so I'm sure they'll be trying to win it back again this year.
Well, there's no pressure. I mean, the only pressure that's on us is from ourselves, you know. I don't think people probably expect us to retain it this year, having lost to Cork in the league semi-final. But look, we'll use the Munster Championship to develop ourselves a bit more, and hopefully we can retain it.
I suppose it just reiterated to us that we are well able to compete and mix it up with the best of the best in the country.
Well, all the panel players got good time this year in the league against quality opposition, which was quite different from the last 2 or 3 years where we were playing Division 2 matches. And you know, with all due respect, we knew we were going to win the majority of those before we ever went out on the pitch. So it's a lot harder to judge players in that kind of arena, but when you're in Division 1 and you're meeting good players every week, it's a lot easier.
And coming up from Division 2, we weren't happy just to languish mid-table or, you know, be stuck in a dogfight at the bottom of the table. We wanted to win it, and it showed that we were certainly within touching distance, but again, maybe lack of composure, concentration. At the end of the day, we just weren't good enough when the chips were down.
When we reached the All-Ireland final in 2012, we had a very difficult night up in Clare. I think we won by 6 points at the finish of it, and they gave us a really tough game up there, and we'll expect the same again this year. I think they're more organised now than they were when they came down to play us last year, and there'll be an element of, you know, revenge, I suppose, in some ways for them. Cork, of course, Cork-Kerry games are always tough, and it doesn't matter where you're playing, whether it's in Cork or Kerry. So we'll be expecting 2 tough games, and we're looking forward to them. I
we definitely are, because I suppose the way the fixtures fall as well. We play Cork on the Saturday in Cork, and then we go to Clare the following Wednesday in Clare midweek. So you know, definitely we won't be complacent, because that'll involve probably a boat and a bus again before we get to the pitch, crossing the ferry. And they always give us a tough game up there, and it was very tight 2 years ago up in Clare. So certainly we won't be complacent.
Well, I suppose, you know, you talked about pressure there at the start and expectation. I think people expect Kerry to do well in the championship now. I suppose losing all the semi-finals we've lost, people would expect us maybe to push on now, like the girls are a bit, you know, the year older, more mature, more experienced, especially after coming off the back of a Division 1 campaign. So, I mean, anything less than an All-Ireland final appearance is going to be a disappointment, let's be honest about it.
I think, you know, ladies football, the standard is rising year on year, because there are such great rivalries like the ones between ourselves and Cork.
Well, you see, I mean, look, you won't look beyond the neighbours, I suppose. They're reigning All-Ireland champions, reigning league champions, and I suppose, look, they're the #1 team in the country. There's no disputing it, and if you were putting your fibre down, as you say, that's who you'd go for. But I mean, Dublin are on the way up, and you've Monaghan there all the time. 2 teams coming out of Connacht. So it's going to be, it's pretty open. It's an open competition this year. And look, it's great to have a Munster final in Kerry again. But as I said, we'll have to reach it first, and the 2 matches away really are a big test for us.